Same week, out comes Mars Needs Mums, which of course everybody knows about because it was a news story. And the problem with it being a news story is you sort of go in with the preconception. The news story is it was for producer Rob Zemeckis' film, and it's a motion capture film in which the story is that a mother, who's a good mother, is taken off to Mars because Mars has got this thing when all their Martians are being raised by robots, and they need mums to teach the robots how to be good nannies.
So and this was in the news?
No, that's not the bit that was in the news. And the son goes off to... Yeah, I know. It was in the news, but it was in the Sunday Sport, which I think has recently closed. Folded, exactly. So the son then goes off to go and try and save Mum because, you know, Mars needs mums. And it's a great, big, expensive motion capture digitally rendered animation. And in America, it sank like a stone. And there was a lot of news stories saying this is it, it's the end of 3D, it's the end of this, that and the other, it's the point at which audiences have finally, you know, risen up and overthrown, which is the sort of thing which you'd expect me to be going, yeah, fine. But like any of these things, it isn't. I mean, it's not that bad. It's not much good. I have to confess, it's really not much good. There are certain bits of the design that I quite like. I mean, Robert Zemeckis, obviously when you look back at films like, you know, Polar Express and lots of the original motion capture animation technique, which was first, I mean, do you remember first seeing Polar Express and people trying to explain to you how it was that mocap was done? You go, what? Tom Hanks plays seven. How does he do that? And they go, oh, yes, it's all the digital stuff. And then Andy Serkis. And, you know, I mean, I remember my total failure to understand motion capture and performance capture, as it's now told, when it first started out. Well, at the end of Mars Needs Mums, there's an interesting thing, which is that the credit sequences are basically the behind-the-scenes material that you would usually get on a DVD. So all the way through the credit sequences, we must go on for about sort of 7 to 10 minutes. There's all the footage of the actors wearing the dotty suits, you know, the suits with all the dots all over them, all in the green, running around doing the stuff whilst being filmed by the motion capture cameras. So not only does the movie itself tank at the box office, and I suspect isn't going to do much better here, because in the end it's a very expensive but not particularly enthralling animation. But all the DVD extras, which are the thing that would sell the DVD, are at the end of the film anyway, and in many ways were the most interesting thing, because you look at them and go, oh, that's interesting, that's him, and then he's on the slide there, and now he's doing the rolling over. Then of course they end up doing the thing which you have to do at the end of movies now, is that everybody involved in the film has to come on and do a song and dance number, which is getting a little bit tiring. But the DVD extras at the end of the film were the most substantially interesting bit. But as the harbinger of the end of something, it isn't. I mean, it's interesting that it failed so badly in America. It's interesting that it got such a hostile reaction, not from the press necessarily, but from the audiences. I don't think it's going to tank. Well, I don't know that it's not going to tank as badly here, but it isn't very good. Large sections of it is quite dark. I mean, again, that's a, you know, that is a Foot Lambert's issue, which I think still has to be resolved. But it's not the worst film of the year by quite some margin. It's just not much good.